Today I have Crayola 5 paintbrushes. Okay, so there are 5 different kinds of brushes in this box, and what it says there on the back, it says for you to do the tips of how does these paintbrushes work. Okay, so I'm gonna explain to you. So this one, it says flat brush. It's this one. So a flat brush is make broad strokes or square marks with a flat end, or lead with a narrow edge for thinner, precise lines of color. Oh, okay. So whenever you're gonna do it horizontally, you see, because the line is thin, and whenever you're doing it horizontally, the line is gonna go way thick. Okay, because you see about these brushes, right? And then the neck, I also already been flattened. That's how a flat brush works. Yeah, so we're gonna do angle brush for greater control on straight lines or edging. So the angle brush you see there, it's a little bit of a flat brush, you know. However, when you were painting with the angled brush diagonally, you see that you painted diagonal ways. It's like for somewhat strokes like that, or somewhat, yeah, has to be whatever. And then the last tip, it says round brush. Choose the large size for washes and broad strokes, or the smaller sizes for fine lines and detail. Okay. You see there, that's the third tip of how does round brushes works. Yeah, so whenever you are drawing with the round paintbrushes, you'll notice that whatever it happens to the side, so when it's small, medium, or large, yeah, it's like for drawing, but it can be like almost for anything that you want to design with that. So I guess the round brush, it looks perfect. But just even though that if even that when I made the brush tip, it'll look more specific to me. Yeah, and you know the ways. It's like you may write by using a watercolor brush. I mean, a paint brush. Yeah, that there could be an easier way on how to deal with that, but you have to be careful by not rounding with a round brush though, because I don't want to, let's just say that there are like some of the brush stands that even make that it pulled, so we don't want that. Yeah, but we're just gonna deal with these brushes carefully. Alright, so I'm gonna able to try by using watercolors for every different types of paintbrushes that I used. Okay, so I got watercolor paper. That's what I'm using. Strathmore watercolor paper, cold press. Yep, this is how I like it. That can be perfect to use it for painting, or doesn't matter, has to be the exactly right brand. It could be like Canson with the watercolor paper. Yep, there's also cold press, which you can feel the texture with the height, and also it has a volume surface. Okay, so I'm just gonna carefully open the brushes box. Okay, we're gonna be careful. So let's take the brushes out one by one. Alright, let's be careful. Okay, so I opened the brushes out one by one, and let's just say that I'm gonna keep this box because I just want to see the tips of how do these brushes work, so I'm not gonna throw it away. Alright, so we're gonna start with the, let's say we're gonna start with the flat brush first. Okay, so I'm gonna use watercolors. So let me just gonna wet the brush first, and I'll start by using blue. Alright, here we go. And then let's see how does it work. So let's start horizontal. Yeah, you know, however, it does look like having a great smooth motion. So let's try it again. Okay, so here it goes. Alright. Okay, so yeah, that one I will just say looks kind of interesting. Okay, so let me do vertical row. I'm sorry, a vertical line. Let's see how it happens. Not bad, huh? Oh, alright. So let me just try it again. Alright. Yeah, so far so good. Yeah, it's not just the wrong way that I did. It's because I want the blue to make it as like an outreach of a perfect color. Yep. And to do that, so okay. Yeah, that's, you know, that's not kind of bad for that. Whenever you're using a new watercolor pigment or a new brush or whatever, just make sure you should clean water before you're using it again. Okay, so the next thing, we're gonna use an angle brush. I'm gonna make it as a cross. So what am I gonna do is to wet it again, and I will use the orange color. Now I'm gonna make diagonal strokes. Let's see how does it works. Yep, it looks perfect. Just the right way. Now I'm gonna do the other diagonal way. So let's be careful. It's not that kind of bad, yeah. But basically, when you are working with an edge strokes, so this does look like similar as the flat brush, but reasonably, however, it's the right shape. I mean, it has a different shape, but the neck is already been flatted, just like the flatted brush, yep. So whenever if I can draw it diagonally, I mean horizontally or vertically. So let's see what happens. Oops. better need to wet the watercolor or else the color might get dry. Yeah, that does look more like it. And then we're gonna do the last tip, which is rounding. So I'm gonna start with a thin round brush first. And I'm gonna start with a yellow color. Okay, so I'm gonna do like for coloring, but let's just do exactly the real painting. Yep, not that kind of bad, huh? Okay, so we're just gonna do another way by using a round brush tip. So let's try to make the color wet. So first, all I have to do is we're gonna add some water. Just be careful, not too much. And then we're gonna exactly use the purple color. And let's see what happens. Yeah, the color might go light. So, however, if you do use the watercolor pigment without water, the color, it's just gonna go like this. Yeah, even though when it happens that the color, it doesn't exactly has to be whether it changes or not. Yeah, but still, however, it's still watercolors though. But even though when the color seems to be like exactly opaque or whatever translucent, the more water you add, the lighter color you get, which is like that one. So whether if you're gonna paint, you might even use those different types of paintbrush shapes. However, if we do use it round, yeah, everybody does sorts of things. It's like from a start of when you're gonna do with the watercolors exactly. Yeah, so even if you don't offend with the strokes, you might even use a flat brush. But basically, however, yeah, you can just try not to pressure yourself about the flat brush. But don't worry, even though when the strokes kinda just move in there, like your watercolor mistakes, or how to do it properly. You might even want to know about like your practices, but that's okay. You just try again and don't rush yourself. Slow down, yeah, cause painting. It's like making you relax. Yep, that can be indeed, but watercolors, however, if you do with the colors, it doesn't matter like how light or whatever. If the color is getting dark, yeah, you might even want to know like sort of things. It's like how it happens. Alright, so that's it for today's video. I hope you like this tutorial. Make sure you subscribe and don't forget to press the like button, and I'll see you again soon.